SP9 is our polish time. So during a daily filter, we're typically going to polish for 5 minutes. In some cases, if a customer says, how can I extend my oil life? You have the option to actually bump this up. And occasion or two, I've had customers want to bump that up to 10 minutes and polish for 10 minutes per vat. So, but I would recommend leaving that alone unless you're asked about it, because 5 minutes is usually pretty good. SP10 is our change pad reminder. By default, we're set to change the pad every 25 hours, or this means we would get a reminder every 25 hours if the filter pad hasn't been changed. The fryer understands a filter pad's changed when it sees the drain pan pulled out, and it has to be out for about a minute or longer and then pushed back in. That'll reset this. So if the store's changing their filter every day at the same time, they'll never see this reminder. If they change it, let's say at 8 a.m. one day, and then the next day they change it at 9 a.m., then they're going to get this prompt. They'll get it right away at 9 a.m. or anytime after 9. So that's our change pad reminder. Recommend leaving that at 25 hours. So SP11 is our clean out time. Typically, we recommend a 60-minute per vat clean out. That's a clean out procedure where you fill the vat with water, your fryer cleanser. It heats up to about 195 degrees Fahrenheit and sits there. But some stores, the active ingredient or the fryer cleanser that they use doesn't take as long to activate. Or if they clean out regularly, they don't have to wait the 60 minutes. And so I've had some stores request 15-minute clean out. And we'll set it to 15. So this is where you can change that. I'll put it back to 60. SP12, I recommend leaving our clean out temperature at 195. But this is where you could change that if you needed to. SP16 is our second language. If you want to change that second language by default on my fryer is set up to Spanish, but if I wanted to change a second language, say I'm in Canada and Quebec and I need to change to French, I can put that here. I'll set this back to Spanish. And our second language is set. Second volume is if sometimes we get requests where the morning shift and the night shift need different volumes. At night they want the kitchen very quiet, and sometimes you want to have that volume drop. And so let's say I want my second volume somewhere around 4 or 5. This is where you can set that second volume. And then when the fryer's sitting off, if I just press the program button 3 times, then it'll give me that option to change the volume or use that second volume. Okay. Energy save enabled. This is where I can take the energy save mode and turn it on or off. An energy save mode on an Evolution Elite would be on a gas fryer. If we hit our set point and reach a set point for a certain amount of time, then our pilots shut off and the blower would shut off in the back. When we drop a few degrees below set point, that's when our pilots turn back on and our blower motor would turn back on. Energy save enabled is by default off on most fryers. There might be some customers who have that on, but just to give you an understanding of what that is. So we'll leave it off on this one. If there's any steps that you got incorrect when you went through fryer setup, there's a few here that we can set them correctly. Our fryer type, we had it accidentally set it to electric and it's gas. I can change that here. 20, if it's a split vat when it's really a full, I could change that here. SP21 is auto lift. This doesn't have a lift, but if it did, I could change that. 22 is for bulk oil. If I had bulk oil supply coming in, or let's say this fryer has been installed and a customer installs that at a later date, they can enable bulk oil supply. And then SP23 is bulk oil dispose. This one's set up for no, but if they add it later, we can say, do we want it to hook up in the front or the rear? So we'll leave that off because this fryer does not have bulk oil. This is our serial number. It's a second option, a different place you can get your serial number on SP24. SP25, change manager code. Don't recommend doing that, but you could right here. SP26 is our usage code. Again, don't recommend changing that. SP27 is dispose requires a code. Okay. And then SP33 is daily filter lockout. So we can have this fryer set up to say, hey, if you're not going to do your daily filter, the fryer's going to lock out and not allow you to cook until that daily filter's been activated or the daily filters happen. So if we want to turn that on, I can just simply change that to yes. I'll leave it off. SP35 is the time of day we want that daily filter lockout to happen if it's enabled. Right now it's set to 9 o'clock p.m., but I could change that if I needed to.